Now, this is my copy from 1970. I've lost the cover. But this is what is considered the libertarian principle.
Yeah.
What is it? What does he talk about in the first treatise? Do you want me to read the chapters out loud?
I'm more,
no, why don't you read them
I'm more of an
loud?
expert on the second treatise
You're
of government.
that's just great. I like that. But let's read then what he put into the first treatise, because that's where he underscores why it's nature and nature's God, natural law. But you listen to this. All right? I'm just going to read the chapters. On paternal and regal power, of Adam's title to sovereignty by creation, of Adam's title to sovereignty by donation, of Adam's title to sovereignty by the subjection of Eve, of Adam's title to sovereignty by fatherhood, of fatherhood and property considered together as foundations of sovereignty, of the conveyance of Adam's sovereign monarchical power, of monarchy by inheritance from Adam, of the heir to Adam's monarchical power. In other words, what did he say? What was he talking about? Is what he covers then in the second treatise, where he says, fathers of their country have sons. And because fathers of their country have sons, they're the ones who continue the sovereignty which starts with their father. Is that right or wrong?
Well, I had...
What produces a father but nature? Correct? What produces children but mother? What produces us but nature? And then he says nature is God, because you're coming under what law then that creates all equal? Equal because of what? Because of our natural conception from where? Where did we come from? Ponder the butterfly. Ponder anything in nature. Where is the most fundamental part of nature from which we come? Nothing in this world, he says, is not under a law that we have now been conceived, because conception is not only thought. Okay, that's enough, yeah, for one night. But I'm going to say, if you're an American, if you understand this, then you'll know why the Pilgrims go all the way and run away from England now. They run away and go to Holland. Because why? You stay there. So they stay in Holland, then they wait, then they come over and they run away and go to where? Where did these people from Holland run away? Where did they don't go to Virginia.
No,
They ended up in Massachusetts.
Well,
Okay, Jamestown is 1607. Kamehameha is not even born yet.
Plymouth.
Right. And when's that one?
1620.
1620.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we get them right? We get them straight? Okay. How many of them were living at the end of the first winter?
Oh, God,
They
not
lost
very
by
many.
Half.
They were 30-ish, I think.
Okay, so when Squanto came down to plant the corn, he came after the winter, right? Well, he couldn't have planted the corn with the fish on it. How come Squanto could speak English?
Because he learned it in Spain.
Because, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Squanto's people actually had been wiped out by a plague that probably passed from early European explorers.
So wouldn't it be good if we all became American tribes?
Squantos was one of the few survivors. He was captured. And
if we all
was
had
enslaved.
communal tenants and we all became American Indian tribes, what's wrong with that concept, however, the way it's written? I'll tell you what's wrong. The way it's written, you'll have two jurisdictions in law. Over what? Think.
Land and people.
So
Sovereign,
who's going to judge you criminal
sovereign A and sovereign
if they
B.
don't like you? Who's going to make you criminal all the time if they don't like you?
They're saying
If you're
that
the wrong race.
the new Akaka bill seems to say that the criminal law of Hawaii would apply. I mean, the state law would apply as opposed to the.
Auntie Ruby, I can't figure out who gets to vote yet
Wait a minute.
about any of it.
I'm sure you've read this thing. This is a copy of the January 31st, 2008.
Akaka bill.
No. Read it. Read it out loud. It's the one he answered. Did
January
you?
31st, 2008.
Yeah.
Oh,
What is
that's the decision of the Hawaii Supreme Court
it? Right.
enjoining any transfer or
This is an appeal
Sale.
from the First Circuit. This is your appeal.
No. That's what happened 2008, January 31st. It's a year ago.
that's the decision of the Hawaii Supreme Court.
That's the decision of the Hawaii Supreme Court. Do you have a copy of it?
Yeah, I do.
You do.
I have his brief, and I have the.
So the amicus that you submitted agrees with this, does it?
This you want me to
Well,
read
we
the
support
underlying?
the state's position, but
You're
we don't
supporting
agree.
the state's
We don't think they asked for enough.
Yeah. you want me to read that?
Hell no.
No, she has underlined all of the stuff from the.
No, but you may have,
Apology
but
bill.
anyone who wants it may have this, because I can easily get another copy.
But I wanted it actually. No, but
Good.
you can have.
All right, that's why you're not going to like Ruby Johnson, because Ruby Johnson went for the Kamehameha rights. You understand me now? I did it because I was fighting something I couldn't really talk about at the time. So I said, well, I've got to go into this Mokapu Bones thing with all the power I can get to fight and win. That it brought me a lot of heartache later on, as it did now, as it does now, because I'm on both sides of the issue.
Ruby, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When your Mayflower ancestors came over from England or from Holland or wherever they were just before they came to America, they brought with them the idea that as Englishmen they had rights, individual rights, and that included private property. Now, did that concept ever become part of ancient Hawaii before Cook arrived? I mean, was there anything comparable to that for the Maka'ainana?
The Hawaiians were already feudal tenures. So when the missionaries came over, it was easy for them to understand the similarity between American and English common law property. And this is when Kamehameha III made his decision to return all of the lands his father had conquered to those chiefs who had lost their titles in the Kamehameha Wars. So I name all the wars that he names in the law on residuums in 1840, 1842, and continued until 1846, because by 1846, William Little Lee came out. He was on his way to Oregon, and he was with a family relative, Charles Bishop, and they were both leaving New York and so and coming around. Gee, they couldn't come through Panama, right? We didn't have a Panama Canal then, did we? They had to come around the Horn, right?
Yeah, 1910. Panama Canal.
Is that the Panama Canal, I think? Okay, so they're coming around